Right there. This is the Big T's Tanner Tucker with Marshall MacPherson of the Prince George Firebirds, who has kindly agreed to do a pre-draft interview. So, Marshall, how do you feel going into the playoffs against the Brandon Blazers with your stats well above what they were during the regular season? Well, Tanner's over the past couple games there against the Whalers. I had my back up against the wall. I had something to prove, and I just played my heart out through those 5 games. And you know what? It's 5 games against the Whalers, of course, but you have to take into account that they're a pretty tough team to play against. They rough you up in the corners, they hit you open ice. They do some stuff behind the ref's back to get you agitated. They're a tough team to play against, and I can tell you, every member of our team right now is feeling it. We're bruised up. It's nothing that you wouldn't expect from a team going into the finals. We've been through 5 of the toughest games that I've ever played. Witzel and Fisher and Second and Norris, they're all getting banged up, and I won't lie that some of us are pretty hurt right now, but we're playing through the injuries, taking numbing shots, and getting massages after games, loosening up muscles. It's been a little bit crazy over the past 2 weeks, and we had the first round bye in the playoffs, and we waited for the winner, which turned out to be the Whalers, who staged a comeback and played against us. Thankfully, we got a hit of them. We were up 3 games to 1, and we managed to pull off the win and get them out of the playoffs in 5 games. Because we knew it was going to be hellacious playing against them. For if it went to 7, we got pretty banged up in 5, so 7 games. If we made it to the playoffs after that, it would be basically just fumes left in the tank. So, in all honesty, I'm glad we got rid of them in 5 games. If you don't want players like Hogan and they can score goals at any given time, and I don't know, it's skill, luck, say what you will, but somehow I managed to keep the puck out of the net enough, and the Firebirds managed to put the puck in the net more than I let in, so that wins you games right there, and not entirely sure what more to say on the matter. I wish the Whalers well, and I'm not looking forward to the end of the season myself, because it's the last time you may be playing with a lot of your teammates. The draft splits you up. A phone call isn't like stepping onto the ice with a teammate every night. You lose the connection with them, and you can still chat with them, of course, but it's not the same. Like for example, I get in the SHL, whatever team I get drafted from, it's unlikely that I'm going to be standing there in the crease during the opening night, during the warm-ups, and then the pregame lineup and puck drop. I'm not going to see Witzel and Fisher and Grimes and Borsato and Sullivan and Nash, and I'm not going to see all those guys standing in front of me like I have all this year. They're a great group of guys, and I'm going to miss them. And the series is tied 1 game apiece. We got another 5 games to go, and I can promise you it's going to be a hair raiser by the end. Well, Marshall, how do you feel about the draft today? Any comments? A little bit nervous, are we? Yeah, just a little. I'm going to be sitting there watching teams call out names, and just hoping for mine to come up. What are you so worried about, Marshall? You're a stand-up guy, and you work hard for the team, and you're a great locker room guy. You talk to people, and you talk to reporters and treat us very well, I have to say. Oh, thank you. So, I just try my best to make everybody's job easy, including players on my team, media. I know you guys got to get your interviews and stuff, so I try to make your guys' life a little bit simpler by being pretty willing to do interviews if I have the time and everything. Over the past week or so, I've been training and just kind of being secluded, focusing on the games and such, and I couldn't really do interviews, and I wasn't really around to do them, so I apologize for that. But I contacted you today, and said I'd do an interview if you would like me to pre-draft, and get my voice out there and get it heard. Well, Marshall, I thank you for that. How have you spoken to any of the SHL GMs so far about them drafting you? Oh, strictly confidential, of course. Talking to GMs, but I have contacted and been contacted by GMs in this league, and with their intentions to draft me, or I asked them about their intentions to draft me, and I have a couple teams that are interested in drafting me right now. I'm not gonna say which, but I've talked to at least one team, and we came to terms that if I was drafted by them, how would we go about things and such, and working on that. And thing is, that's if you manage to draft me, I could be drafted by another team before they get a chance to. So, it's all grin and bear it if it all falls out of place. I talked to one team about playing for them, but if I get drafted by another, I'm gonna play for them. I'm gonna offer. I'm going to talk to them about a contract offer. I'm going to be fair to them as well because, I have respect for the draft and how it works. If they want to draft me, they took me at a certain position, and it's too bad for me if I wanted to play for another team, but, because of the draft, if they draft me, they want me on their team. They want me to, play my heart out and improve any way I can to, take their team to the top, and I have complete respect for that. I'm not gonna short them on what they're gonna get in a player just because I didn't end up on the team I wanted. But it's all water under the bridge after all, and I don't really blame any team for taking me over another. If a team couldn't take me at a certain position because they felt they needed another player worse than they needed me, then what? That's fine with me. You can only do so much as you can in the draft with your picks, and sometimes you got to make tough decisions and draft a player that you don't want to take because you're somebody else you want to take, but your team needs this player more than the other. Like, for example, if a team is deficient on a defensive defenseman, and you have a decent goalie, but he isn't great, but he's okay, and your team needs a defensive defenseman a lot more than they need another goaltender. So you're going to take the defenseman first, and then maybe the pick or two after you, somebody takes that goaltender you're keeping your eye on. That's just the way it goes sometimes, and you just got to deal with that. Marshall, you said before about injuries. How banged up are you guys getting in the Whalers game? Oh, I can tell you, Witzel, he had his cage rattled a couple times and some big hits. Like, the Whalers are a team that, they're physical. They remind me of Philadelphia. They're hard to play against. They're a bunch of big bodies, and if you're going to get a scoring chance, you're going to fight for it, and you're going to pay in blood, sweat, and tears. It's just not easy to get to their net, and it was a tough series. It only lasted 5 games, but like I said before, I got to tell you, it was hard. Like, all the guys are coming back to the locker room afterwards, and ice packs were at a premium, I guess. Guys were sitting in the saunas. They were getting massages, icing down after the game. I could say that one player on our team was taking numbing shots before every game because of his leg. It's given him a little bit of trouble there against the Whalers. It's since healed, and he's pretty good right now. I got to give him credit for playing through it, and he's been a tough son of a bitch. I'll give him that. I know if I had that type of injury and in my position in the net, I would be the one setting out because I wouldn't feel that I would be able to adequately stop the pucks for the team and sit down and let somebody else take over until I get better. But this guy, he's been crazy so far, and he's been the heart and soul of the team, and Witzel commended him for being such a team player in the playoffs, and he's there fighting for the team, and that's it makes you feel good that somebody's that into it. They have that much heart and passion to win the cup that they would play through an injury like that. Marshall, what do you think about the Firebirds and the Blazers series so far? Well, it was a tight game in game one, I have to say. I kind of failed there and let in 5 goals, and it was tight right to the end. But the guys just couldn't get it past Fishy for the tie. So we have to take the good with the bad, I suppose. And we took the bad there, and we got the good the next game, and we kind of came back and scored all the goals that we should have scored in the first game in the second. We won 7-1, and that's all well and good. But you know what? The series is still tied. So basically now it's a best of 5. And heading into tonight's game in Prince George, I can't wait to hear the fans' reactions when we step onto the ice, because they're going to blow the roof off. And then we got a game later on, and we're playing that as well the next day. And we're hoping to get 2 wins and get them in a death grip, and be up 3-1 in the series. Hopefully finish this bastard fast, because the playoffs go on. The more tired you get, and you're only going on adrenaline and sheer will. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough series, and I can tell you right now, in my honest opinion, I think it's going to go 7 games. It's going to go down to the wire. I've been playing my heart out. I've been on the top of my game in the playoffs, and Fisherman, he's been outstanding in the regular season. He's been good in the playoffs, and I think we're going to crank it up, and we're going to have a series on our hands here. And that's all I have to say on it. Oh, thank you, Marshall, and I appreciate the interview. Not a problem, Tucker. See you later, bud.